private. So I want to bring in the guys for this chat here. D'Angelo Hall, Sean O'Hara joining me for this one. Obviously, we all have our opinions how to handle this, and there's a lot of layers going into this. But D. Hall, I want to get your reaction to what Mike just reported, sort of what we can expect from the team and what this says for Dwayne and the larger scale as well for his career down the line.
Well, you know what? Dwayne was a guy, MJ, who didn't have a long rope anyway in Washington. You know, just by kind of the messaging that Coach Rivera and the rest of his staff has kind of already shown Dwayne Haskins, you would have thought that this kid would have been on his best behavior. And so that is what's the head-scratching thing and what's mind-boggling because, you know, this is a kid who understands that he doesn't have many more chances. And so for him to go out after the game, not have a mask on, put himself in danger, put the rest of the guys in that locker room, and like Mike Garafolo spoke about, this team actually has a chance to win the NFC East, and that was something when this season started that wasn't attainable. And so, you know, I think everyone understands when, you know, if Alex Smith is healthy, he will be the guy. There's no doubt about that. And so for Dwayne Haskins, it's about him trying to learn from this and trying to grow as a football player.
Yeah, D. Hall, I mean, obviously you learn from everything in life, right? And, you know, there's a great saying that a smart man learns from his mistakes, while a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. So just like Mike G was talking about, Deshaun Watson got fined for just opening a restaurant and being inside without a mask on, those are things that you have to learn from others' mistakes. That's how you get wise. So for Dwayne Haskins, look, he's going to get beat up for this, and rightfully so. He should. This is a poor decision. This has kind of been his thing coming out of the draft was, can we trust you? To Mike G's point, you want to be the face of the franchise going forward. You've got to prove on and off the field that you can handle that leadership, handle that aspect. So it's no doubt a blow. But as you know, D. Hall, the locker room is a very forgiving place. So, you know, once everybody says, hey, man, you're a knucklehead, you messed up, number one, you're going to find a game check. All right, so now he's going to be back in there scraping those singles off the floor. Number two, stop listening to T-Pain in pregame warm-up. He's getting in your head, giving you the ideas. And then number three, let's go out and win the division, and then let's celebrate, all right? We just lost a game. I don't know what you're out celebrating. Let's get a victory, and then we could go out and celebrate the right way.
Guys, listen, thanks for being honest and, of course, for keeping it real. And as you both have said before, your locker room, your teammates are going to be the first ones to check you. And that's what I'm hoping is happening here with Dwayne and the rest of that football team. Thanks, guys. We'll check in with you a little later in the show. Listen, up ahead this weekend, we have you covered starting Friday. Christmas Day, it's Vikings-Saints. Saturday, a triple header. Bucs-Lions on NFL Network, 49ers-Cardinals on Prime Video, and Dolphins-Raiders on NFL Network to close out your day. Hey, Drew Brees, why don't you get us started?
We said it fast and furious. Trust yourself. Trust the man next to you. Trust the player. Yeah. One play at a time. I want to see how good we can be today.
Brees out of the gun, looking left, throws over the middle. Caught Alvin Kamara reaching. Touchdown, Alvin Kamara.
Tonight's the night. And we put it in. Every one of you, man. Let's go, baby. 1, 2, 3.
Murray in the backfield. Brees under pressure in the pocket. Back of the end zone, wide open. Touchdown.
Okay, so here's a look at the NFC playoff picture. The Saints are the 2 seed, have already clinched the playoff berth. It's the Vikings and the Bears who are fighting to play football in January. They are the only 2 teams left in the NFC who are sitting on the outside looking in. The Vikings play the Saints on Friday, of course, and Jane Slater is covering the game for us.
After winning 9 straight, the New Orleans Saints have lost their last 2. They're hoping to reverse that latest trend, though, when Minnesota travels to New Orleans to take them on Christmas Day. Now, the Minnesota Vikings defense is not up to the standards that they're used to, according to safety Harrison Smith. 5th in 2019, they are 25th this season. He said, look, the NFL's a business. You've got injuries, but if you are a good player, you take it personally, and you get the sense that he does. Also of note, Drew Brees, who started the game a little rocky, 0 for 6 on his first passing attempts and didn't complete a pass to the second quarter. He says, look, he was just trying to find his rhythm. He feels fine this week. The only challenge, making sure he gets all the recovery that he needs. On a week, you typically get 7 days to prepare for a game. This week, you get 5. That plan already in place.
Thanks, Jane. And let's break down this one in Tale of the Tape. Michael Robinson and LaDainian Tomlinson come on in. to break this one down. The Vikings-Saints game, guys, like many matchups this season, not so clear-cut as one would think. Drew Brees now back in action for a team that just took back-to-back losses, each of them coming by just 3 points. Rob, who has the edge on this one at the QB position?
To me, this isn't close. This is Drew Brees, and I'm not just talking about in terms of being able to put up numbers, which Drew Brees can. He's completing 71% of his passes, 21 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. But I do think Kirk Cousins will put up numbers, but it's more of the decision-making in critical situations. Drew Brees is a master at putting the ball where it needs to be put and not turning the football over. As I just mentioned, only 4 interceptions. So in this matchup, I'm just looking at who's going to make the right decisions. And I think time and over, in big situations and big games, you see the New Orleans Saints pushing for that #1 seed. I think Drew Brees is gonna perform well, and he has the edge in this matchup.
All right. Well, LT, what about that backfield matchup in this one, huh? We have a guy by the name of Dalvin Cook on one side, Alvin Kamara on the other side. Who gets it in your eyes for the running backs?
Well, MJ, on this tail of the tape for the running backs, 2 is better than 1 for me. And I'm talking about the 2 of Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray, because you can't have Alvin Kamara without Latavius Murray. They work well together. Alvin Kamara is a problem within itself. 700 and 700 rushing and receiving already. The guy's phenomenal. He does it all. But Latavius Murray is the hard hat guy. He comes in between the tackles. He loosens the defense up, breaks you down, and that's what makes their offense go, these 2 guys. I love Dalvin Cook. Might be the best running back in the league, but he's going against the Saints this week. They're really good against the run defense, and they're going to crowd the box and make Kirk Cousins throw the football this weekend.
All right, so far we're leaning towards the New Orleans side. So, Rob, what about the receivers? Vikings with a standout rookie, the Saints, more than a few impactful vets here, huh?
Yeah, for the wide receiver one, I got to go with the Minnesota Vikings here. I'm looking at, this young kid, Justin Jefferson. I mean, he's a stud. I mean, over 1,100 receiving yards. He's silky smooth. He has route versatility, can run crossing routes, hitch routes. He can beat you deep, and he can take screens and go the distance with it. And then you look at on the other side, Adam Thielen. He's a route technician. I think he is close to the leader in the National Football League in touchdown receptions with 13 touchdown receptions. So I got to lean toward the Minnesota Vikings in this matchup. If Michael Thomas was playing, that may be a totally different conversation, but Michael Thomas isn't playing. So in this one, I got to lean toward the Minnesota Vikings.
That's that X factor we always talk about. LT, don't make me say it because you already know the phrase on defenses, right? The NFL rankings lean pretty heavily towards one of these 2, but what say you?
Hey, did y'all just hear James Slater about the Minnesota Vikings defense? All the problems that they're having on defense, all the injuries they got on defense. How in the heck I'm going to pick the Minnesota Vikings? You know it's the Saints. Man, these dudes balling out in every aspect of defense, rushing the passer, rush defense. They can cover on the back end. They can do it all. Man, it's the Minnesota Vikings. Y'all going to quit playing. I mean, I'm sorry. The Saints.
Oh, yeah. You stop playing. You stop playing.
I knew it. All right, tail of the tape. It says it right there. The guys are leaning heavily towards New Orleans. All right, thank you, guys. And a reminder, Christmas Day, you can see if they are correct, Vikings-Saints at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox, NFL Network, and streaming on Prime Video. Coming up next, the time has come to get you ready for the Total Access Game of the Week. The Hawks found a way to survive the chase. The Rams found a way to succumb to the Jets. But the only game that matters is the next one. So Sunday in Seattle, how can LA take the lead in the NFC West? And how can Russell just go ahead and take it down? At the risk of asking the obvious, what in the Benny Snell is going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers? We've got answers. Plus, a playoff plan for Tom Brady, a Saturday plan for Kyler Murray, a fantasy plan for your championship game,